And we so wanted to see your smiling face, Ryan.
I know, Brian. This is pretty much a tragedy. Hey, everybody. This is Ryan. You can't see me, and right now the screen is on NS Pets, and his mouth isn't moving. I know you're confused. You're going, why are lips not moving? But I can hear Ryan's face. Hear Ryan's face. So for whatever reason, my camera is not working today. Not sure why. So we'll zip around from person to person. In fact, what I would like to do is something a little bit different, and that is share my screen.
So wanted to see your smiling face, Ryan.
I know, Brian. This somebody's echoing. Pretty much a tragedy. Hey, everybody. This is Ryan. You can't see me, and right now the screen. You're killing me, Godson. You're echoing. All right, can you guys see my screen right now?
No.
Son of a bitch. Okay. Let's try this. We'll do this. This is going to be good as soon as we figure it out. How about...
I see the Lena crew. Yeah, there we go. We see the tunnel.
All right, cool. All right, cool. So what I'd like to do today is show you a bit of some traffic strategy, and we'll bounce around from person to person with questions. But first, I'd like to go through the traffic strategy that we're going to be following right now, and you guys can follow this if it's applicable to your business. If it's not applicable to your business, don't worry about it. So when I get excited about something, I want to share it with you guys. I know it's not going to be immediately applicable to your business, but I want to share it with you anyway. One of the things that we're doing is we're using a combination of blogging plus Facebook for traffic. So I always recommend that when you're starting a business, focus on one channel at a time. So for those of you who are just starting, your channel is Amazon. And the way that you get sales, the way that you get moving is by maximizing Amazon. I've been maximizing Amazon for 18 months before moving on to any other traffic channels. But now we're moving on to other traffic channels. So if this distracts you, ignore it. But it might be cool to see what we're doing as our next steps. So we are starting with a really content-heavy blog post on our website. And on this site, on this blog post, there will be links to products as well as banners to products, as well as email captures that promote products, our physical products. Okay, so our blog is structured like this to be content heavy with calls to actions to link to products, and then banners on that same page, and then having email captures that will eventually promote to those products. Okay, so the reason we're doing this is because this is like a cool and ethical way to get people engaged in the conversation. So if you've got a pet product, for example, and your product is a dog bowl, you would have some sort of a content-heavy post about the 5 things that need to be present in the perfect dog bowl. I know it's a silly example, but the five mistakes that people make when they're buying healthy dog food, or the 5 mistakes that people make when trying to lose weight, or the 5 mistakes, or the 5 whatever it is. Most of them are lists. And actually, it looks like this. Here's my criteria. I know this is going to be a little hard to see, so I'll just read it to you. We do, these are my own personal notes, so I got to break down what this actually means to you. We start with a yes set. This is stolen from a buddy of mine who gave me this formula. A yes set would be a series of questions. Do you have a hard time buying healthy dog food for your beloved pet, you get them to say yes. State the problem, agitate the problem, give them the solution, which is going to be your product, of course. So that's the structure of the article. And from here, we are linking. Oops, that's not what I wanted. We are linking from Facebook audience ad. And then this is an advertisement for this blog post. So I'm sure you've seen viral content all over Facebook before. And we target our target market. And we encourage shares and likes. So I'm sure you've all seen this on Facebook, people sharing articles all over the place. So what we try to do is have a really awesome content post that people want to share, and then we advertise that on Facebook. And we'll also send traffic back to the Facebook fan page. So by doing this, we send traffic to our article, we get them to see our product, they see our email capture, and the site itself will also link back to our Facebook page. So we keep the traffic internal to ourselves. Our goal is, if they're not going to buy our product, at least they'll read an article. And if they read an article, hopefully they'll opt in for an email address. If they don't give us their email address, maybe they'll like our page. If they don't like our page, maybe they'll at least share our content, which will get other people through this cycle. Now we add one more step to this process. If you don't know what retargeting is, I'd recommend reading some blog posts about it. They're those ads that follow you all over the place. And we send it to our Amazon page. By advertising on Facebook, sending it over to a content page, retargeting that content, and I should put here that this also goes to Amazon. How can I display this? Let's do this. This goes to Amazon. This goes to Amazon. Our links go to Amazon. And then we retarget them to Amazon. So by doing this, we control the whole traffic flow and then zip it over to Amazon. Now, one way that you can kind of hack this system, for those of you who are advanced or those of you who want to do something a little bit creative, is if you can, instead of doing an ad, and we've done this with good success. Let's do this actually. If you want to hack this for a little bit faster results, one of the things you can do is pay, we'll say hire fan page. Right. So we did this with one of my supplement lines. We wanted to promote our fish oil. So we found a CrossFit page that had like 100,000 people on it that liked the page, and we paid them to do a sponsored post. So we paid them to boost a post, and it was already the target market. So rather than choosing the target market, we paid someone to boost a post to our target market, encourage them to like it, and then this came over to a content-heavy post. And that way we can control the traffic even more. So for $100, we can tell somebody just to boost it to their existing audience, and it looks like an endorsement. So this way we control the entire traffic flow from the people who see it to where they go to what they opt into, our email list or liking a page, send them to our sales page, we retarget them. We keep the entire traffic flow within this little network here. And you can either do it through a Facebook ad, or you can pay someone who has a Facebook page to do a sponsored post to send them over to your blog. Now, I know this is a little bit of a deviation from what we usually talk about, but this is something that we are developing internally and that we've been testing a little bit with some good success. We're changing our approach and testing a lot of different things. But I wanted to put this out here because as a tribe, every time we have a cool idea, there's always a few people who take it and run with it and modify it and do some cool things with it. So I wanted to bring this up now as we're testing and refining it. For those of you who are at the level where this will be applicable, you can start testing and refining this and start using it for traffic. So forgive me if this was more advanced than where some of you are, but whenever we get these conversations going, the tribe always takes them and run with it. So I wanted to show you that before we got into questions and talk about Amazon stuff. If you have any questions about this, I'd be happy to answer them on the call. And I'm going to turn my screen off. All right, so where I would going to take your questions. I'd like to know where you're at in the training, how we can take you to the next level, and if you have any questions about this series that I just laid out for you, I'd be happy to answer them for you. I'm going to man the chat box as well. I'd like to hear from our neighborhood-friendly Brian, hear how business is going, and hear what you've heard from the follow-up from people who took your mastermind, because I understand that is going to be a recurring thing in your little masterminds going on for tribe members.
Yeah, so you're putting me on the spot here, are you?
Indeed, I am. Well, I'd love to hear.
Ryan, your audio keeps cutting out there. I don't know if it's on my end on bandwidth or your end.
Did I just cut off?
Yeah, you just cut off. You're back now.
Cool.
You'd like to hear me what?
I'd like to hear you expand on how people have been doing since the last mastermind, because I know there's going to be future of those meetings coming up.
Yep, there will be. Appreciate it. And just a quick shout out, literally, as you were going through, Diane, I don't know if I'll pronounce this correctly, Artail, just took an action within the last 5 minutes signing up for the Atlanta event. So, but talking about the Philly event, we had 9 folks there. All 2 were in phase 2, the rest in phase 1, and just the biggest feedback I had from the folks coming out of that was 2 things. 1, the camaraderie with people and realizing they're not in it alone, and 2, coming out of it with a list of actions. And Ryan, you can guess where we got this one. In the next 30 days, I will. We will have a follow-up Google Hangout. I think it's in a week or 2. It's sort of 30, 40 days after the event, where we're going to hold each other accountable for what we said we were going to do.
Great.
That kind of platform prompted me to create the other 2 events, one in Vegas and one in January. The one in Vegas is sold out. There is a wait list, though. And the one in Atlanta, I think I'm down to 2 or 3 seats left. So the great thing there is you know, probably people wonder maybe a little bit why I'm doing this. I just get motivated personally by seeing other people succeed. And Ryan, I'm sure you can appreciate that emotion and that feeling when you see other people being successful.
Yeah, I want to bring up what you mentioned about the in 30 days I will, because I now do a 90-day sprint where Yeah, I've discovered with myself that I set goals all the time, but that if I don't put a date on the goal, I have a really hard time following through and making those things happen. There's something special about putting a date on the goal where if you have a list of action sets, once you date them, your brain finds a way to accomplish those things. So, Brian, do you care to share what type of things were coming up on? Because people who attended your mastermind were a little bit more advanced than the people who are just coming in the new wave of the tribe. So what are some of the goals that were being set for that 30-day sprint?
Give me a sec here. I can pull it up, but as I'm doing that, I will speak from memory. It was a lot about listing optimization, optimizing listings, taking specific actions from there. I just found the Google Doc. Give me a sec here. It's that's why I write things down. So keyword rankings, various initiatives, and specific objectives on keyword rankings. Launching new products, add-on products, product number 2, product number 3, product number 4, etc. Conversion rates, obviously listing optimization and conversion rates. We spent a lot of time deep diving into individual listings with the group, and I'm not going to go into specifics on that because everything that happens in that room stays in that room. So you know, it's a team effort. So, and we talked about various time management tools as well. My keynote speaker, if you will, I think you were on her podcast. I don't know if she's been on your podcast, but
Right.
Liz Brazier. And I have posted about Liz in the tribe, I think, in the past day or two. And she shared some time management techniques. And one of the really cool ones I'll just share with the group here is a website called unroll.me, which plugs into your Gmail account, and any of these newsletter stuffs, it'll unsubscribe you and then give you a daily roll-up. So we had literally 3 people in the room did that and got rid of over 100 email newsletters that they were on. So still getting the content, but so it's just some specifics like you know, around specific things for your business on products, on conversion, on dealing with Amazon, dealing with problem customers. Those are some of the topics we talked about.
Cool. On my 90-day sprint were things about traffic and were about getting sales off of Amazon, meaning developing our own channels. Brian, I've got the screen locked on you for some reason. Do you know how to...
Click on my face with your cursor, and it'll unlock. That little white bar around it will go away.
You're so smart, Brian. All right, cool. I want to take a couple of questions from the chat box. And congratulations to what nickname did we come up with for Sir Chuck's-a-Lot? He's $500 short of his 10K badge.
Lost your mic again, Ryan.
Directly to FBA, and Amazon picks whatever warehouse it wants. Will we know that when we get the labels for the supplier to place on our product? And the answer is yes. And of course, the freight forwarder will be, if you're shipping from China and they deliver it to a port here in the U.S., the freight forwarder will pick it up and will know where to send it according to the when you get the label. From Shannon. Shannon says she's talking to suppliers at this point. That's good. Question from Tyler: when hiring a fan page for the sponsor post, do you contact them or work out a deal, or is there a Facebook feature to do this? I have just reached out to the Facebook owners themselves in order to run this process. So you can do this with anyone who has a list, anyone who's a blogger, anyone who has a Facebook fan page, anyone who has an audience. You can run this process. So where you get your traffic, we just do on Facebook because we want it to go somewhat viral. It doesn't really matter where the traffic is coming from as long as it's targeted and it's endorsed in some capacity. Endorsed meaning it's from someone. It can be from us, our Facebook page, or it can be somebody else's Facebook page. and it's what we call native content. If you don't know what I mean when I say native content means it blends in with the resource that it's coming from. So on Facebook, a status update is native content. If you do a sponsored blog post on someone's blog, that would be native content. So if it's endorsed traffic, meaning it comes from you, or it comes from someone who endorses you, and it's native to the platform that it's on, Facebook, and it goes over to a content-heavy post, it's a very, what do you call it, a very non-invasive way to advertise to your target market. Take a couple more questions. Question to Brian. Somebody want to know if there's any more spots open for your Atlanta Mastermind.
Yes, I have 3 spots open right now. I hope it's okay with you, Ryan. I took the liberty of throwing the URL for zonmastermind.com right up there underneath my name. So just pop on over there and it'll take care of it. So 3 spots in Atlanta.
And the one in Vegas is sold out, correct?
Sold out, and there is a wait list, though. And you know, if we get enough interested people on a wait list, I'll figure something out.
Okay, cool. All right, from St. Louis, Ryan. Question: in order of importance, how would you rank these factors in choosing a product? Competitors' BSR, number of reviews, number of similar products, number of ASMers, how brand driven it is, and number of people selling a product or a market. Actually, Ryan, I'm going to dodge your question by saying I think these are fairly unimportant things about choosing a product, because you're looking at competition rather than volume. I think the most important thing is volume. So I guess competitors' VSR would be the one thing that I would say is important in there. The other thing that is important is how brand driven it is, because if it is brand driven, you want to avoid that market. I've told this story 100 times. I'm going to tell it again. My first product did not look like it was going to have a lot of volume, but we captured so much of the market that we do over 100 sales a day with just that one product. And it violated the rules of ASM, but it met my rule of it gets advertised in mass media. So if you're just looking at Amazon for where the volume is, you may be missing opportunities, because my first one was advertised in mass media, but it didn't look like there was a lot of activity on Amazon, and that really, really set us apart. A couple questions about FBAinspection.com. I personally have not used it. I'd be happy if somebody else on the call has. There's somebody whose product is premium coffee. So food items I would tend to stay away from, but if you have the numbers to support it on Amazon, I would be interested in seeing this. All right, cool. So what I'd like to do now is switch it over to those of you who are on the call. I'd like to hear about where you're at in the training and how we can help refine it so that we can guarantee your success. John, the camera was just on you, so I'd love to hear from you.
Oh, okay. I'll talk. I'm just talking to suppliers at the moment, sort of sorting out, final product details and packaging. And I was wondering, since I'm not based in the USA, they say you should put an address or contact support phone number on the box. Do you think that we should pay for a service for that, or not put an address on the box?
I didn't get what's your question? If you should put your address in what?
Put like a support phone number or a contact address on the packaging, or as part of your ASM account.
Okay, so we decided to do it when we rolled out our products. We decided to do it. We used Earth Class Mail for an address, and it sure is annoying that you guys can't see me. And I'm so sorry that you just see a very handsome picture of me, but still just a picture of me. So please forgive me that you can't see my face right now. I even combed my hair for you today. But we did decide to put an address and a phone number on our boxes, and we used Earth Class Mail, paid $25 a month to have a digital PO box used, and then we used grasshopper.com to get a phone number, an 800 number, or it might even be an 866 number, and that just goes to a recorded voicemail. Somebody checks the voicemails a couple times a week and responds to them back right. So yes, I think it's important for you to put contact information on your packaging if you're going to have packaging, and it should not be your house or your personal.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan, you mind if I interject something there as well? I think that having an address and a phone number, and I've done the same thing, I've got an address and a Grasshopper phone number, adds credibility to your product in the eyes of the consumer that's bought it. You're a real company. But the most important thing over and above your address and phone number is make sure you have in huge letters the URL where you want to capture people's email addresses.
Agreed. We've taken that one step further, and we have inserts in our packaging that send people to URLs. This is more stage 3. If you guys aren't familiar, I'll give you the quick recap of the 3 stages. Stage 1 being the grind, meaning the only thing you should be focusing on is sales and reviews. So where you are in training right now, if you're ASM 4, you should just be thinking about what can I do right now to set it up so that I get sales on day 1. Building an email list, building a Facebook list, building a list of bloggers that you can syndicate content to that links back to your products. What can I be doing right now to set it up so that when my product hits Amazon, I am ready to take sales? And what is the personal list of people that I can bug to get my first set of reviews? Am I going to do a launch to one of the launch services? These are the questions you need to be thinking about right now. Stage 2 is rolling out multiple products. Stage 3 is increasing customer value, and that's when you really need to worry about capturing email addresses, doing social media, building a website. That is when that stuff is necessary. If you want to start doing them now, you can, but they're not necessary. List of people that I can bug to get my first set of reviews. Am I going to do? Beth, I had to mute you because you're echoing. I would like to hear if I could put Kevin on the spot. Kevin, I would love to hear an update from you.
Absolutely. So I am in stage 2. We launched our first product mid-August, and we've got 2 products out now, both selling really well. It only took about 2 weeks or so, I'd say, after we launched the second product for it to begin selling more than the first product, which was pretty exciting. And we're hovering around between the 35 and 40,000 mark per month right now. If the trajectory continues on this pace, we'll be at about 50,000 a month by the end of the year. And I've got about 5 additional products in different stages of development right now, so that's pretty exciting. And it's we're starting to really build a brand and think about promotions and lead capture opportunities and follow-up opportunities with our customer base that are built around all of our products, not just one. So it's been a really exciting ride. When I started this journey with you in ASM3 just over 6 months ago, I never would have imagined that it would have surpassed the income I was earning from my other business. And so right now, all of my efforts are really focused on transitioning towards Amazon-type businesses going forward. And most of the income at this point is still going back into the business. I'm not taking much of a salary yet, but that'll change soon, and I'm looking forward to it.
You can't see me, but I'm beaming ear to ear. And what I'd like to ask you is, the last 2 weeks or so, I've really belabored the points that I've wanted to hit, and I want to start transitioning into where everybody should be, which is kind of waiting on their shipment to arrive and getting ready for those first sales to hit. So you, since August, have built up, you've had your business really start to grow. on pace for 6 figures now. So what did that look like for you, for those who are wanting to have similar success? What did it look like for you from day one of things hitting the warehouse? What did you do to get those sales moving and flowing? And then I want to talk about that second product too, how it started outselling the first.
Yeah, so the first, after we placed our inventory and we were just waiting for it, there's a couple of things that we did. Number one is build that list, and that's what you taught us, is to build that list of initial people that you can give a free product to in exchange for a review. So for us, that was about 50 or 60 friends and family. Make the list longer than you think you may need, because believe it or not, family and friends are sometimes easy to give products to, but hard to actually follow up with and get them to leave that review. So it takes a little bit of follow-up and persistence to get them to actually follow through and leave the review once they've purchased the product through Amazon. So building that list, getting that ready, creating your email follow-up sequence, whether you use the ASM tool or any of the other third-party tools, creating that and getting that set up, considering some other type of external launch like you've talked about, whether that's through some type of service, or whether that's through blogging or through a Facebook page that you either own or have access to. Really, I mean, I can't say it enough. What you have always preached, which is sales and reviews, are the two most important things. But as you're waiting on your inventory, be thinking about not only how to get those initial sales and reviews, but what you're going to do with them after you get them. That's really the most important thing that you can be doing while you're waiting on the initial inventory.
Great. So let's talk about that. Thank you, Kevin. I want to ask: is anybody on the call or anybody on the chat in the spot where they've ordered inventory and now it's in shipping la la land, where they're waiting for it to hit the Amazon warehouses so they can start selling? Is anybody in that spot? Give me a head nod or a head shake. Okay, you're not nodding your head. So if you're not in that spot, for those of you who are on the call, where are you in the process? Are you still choosing products? Are you still choosing suppliers? And what's holding you back from that point of placing the first order?
I'm still waiting for my sample to come. So hopefully that's here this week, and I'll be able to move quick because I've got a U.S. supplier. So just about there, and hopefully the product's good. But yeah, just waiting on samples.
And Kurt, if you're happy with the sample, are you ready to move forward on that order of inventory?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'll have to see sort of what it comes in shipping-wise and container-wise and all the rest, and get that done up. But that should be pretty quick because my wife and I are sort of graphical Photoshop people. So yeah, I'm doing all the things that Kevin's talking about. So I'm very interested in this, like building the list away. I've got stuff on Reddit collecting me survey responses. I get email responses, and I'm collecting emails on the site like you suggested last time. And I've got a list of family and friends. So, I've got like 100 people I can send these to, but I'm wondering, like, what more can I do? So it's interesting to hear sort of what Kevin did and, what you might suggest.
Kurt, would you follow up on what we talked about last week with you adding the email box and you starting to get those leads? Because that was a big point of our conversation last week.
Yeah, so I've got a site in the niche or the industry that is it's an Amazon affiliate site. And I decided after you suggested it to throw a pop-up opt-in box there that basically says, we're developing our product. Enter your email below, and I'll send you, a coupon to get it for $1. And I'm split testing a bunch of things. So the first one, it's converting at about 2% right now. So not great, but everything else is converted worse. So I'm on about the 4th iteration. And it fits perfectly with the niche. So yeah, I'm collecting additional emails that way to build up, so I can send them the $1 coupon.
Okay, great. And about how you said you're converting about 2%. How many emails is that converting into?
I think we're at 21, 22 right now.
Okay. And what's the headline of your opt-in? What's the bribe to get them to give you?
The first one is we were developing our product, or our own product, and then there's a sort of a byline that says, you can get it for $1, blah, blah, blah. And I just added a second one, which has only got like 100 impressions so far. And that one says, get our product for just $1. So yeah, the first one, just, we're launching our product, has got 26 conversions on just under 2,000 impressions. So still waiting for more impressions on that second one to get some more stats.
Cool. So if I could tweak it real briefly for you, and then
Yeah.
move on. I think you would do better if it said, get a free or get the latest blank, whatever it is, or become a beta tester. Either of those will, I think, draw more attention, and then make your second line a little bit more descriptive. Then you can say, we're developing our own line of blank. They'll be out in a few weeks. Enter your email address to be one of our beta testers for just $1. Or get it for $1 when it's ready. Why are we giving it away for $1? Because we need reviews. So if you'll leave a review, you'll get it for just $1. I've tested a whole bunch of descriptions, and that kind of 3-part description, get it for $1, why we need reviews, and then restate the offer, always does really well, because there's usually a BS meter that goes off when people see something for $1, but if you give them the reason why, that silences the BS meter. So I want to expand on what Kurt's doing and how we can make that bigger. But first, I'd like to hear from one other person. I saw some mentions in the chat box. Some people still choosing suppliers, but I'd like to hear, is there anybody else who's waiting for inventory to show up, or where are you in the process? That way I can kind of coach you to the next level, but I got to know where you're at first. And start calling you out. All right, Pierre, I want to hear where you're at in the process.
Yeah, so my inventory is live on FBA.
Good.
And, I was just thinking of, I just let myself a few days to think whether I do a zone blast, or if I try the method of that you described in your video, when you said about your cat scratcher with your girlfriend.
Yep.
That she gave away via Facebook. So, but I just wanted to, by curiosity, I know it's not recommended, but I just wanted to see if I could get some sales without any reviews. So I just paid ads, like Amazon ads. So I got some clicks, like 47, but still no sales. So.
Okay, I am not surprised. So let's do this. Let's move it back over to the screen share here. You should be able to see my screen.
Yeah, I see it.
Do you see? Oh, shoot, it's sharing the wrong. Whoa, sharing the wrong screen. Okay. Now you should see my whole screen. Can you guys see my whole screen right now?
No.
No? How about now? Can you guys see my whole screen now?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, good. Go back over to Bubble here. So what I want to do here is walk you through not necessarily the launch process. Let's see if I can make this bigger for you. Okay. But what you need to do when your inventory hits, this is what all of you should be prepping right now, even if you are still choosing suppliers. If you're still choosing suppliers, we're a little bit behind and we need to get you caught up. And you get caught up by, you can work on this process if you know what your product is going to be. If you don't know what your product is going to be, you've got a significant amount of catching up to do. You're a couple of weeks behind. So this is what you need to be thinking about for the next couple of weeks while you're either waiting for samples or you're waiting for product to arrive. The first thing is, what does your first 25 reviews look like? Now, this is important because what Pierre just said is he tried to run Amazon pay-per-click to a listing with no reviews, and it didn't work. It didn't have sales. That's why this nucleus of reviews is so important. At about 25 reviews, that's where your inventory or your product listing will start to convert to sales. So these are friends, family, and immediate customers. So this is who can you beg, borrow, and steal from to get reviews and to get my first 25. When you have your first 25, the next step is to turn on Amazon pay-per-click. At this point, you will start to see sales. What do you do with Amazon pay-per-click? You bid aggressively. How aggressively? You shoot to break even. You're shooting to break even on your profit. That is your goal. So if you make $10 per sale, that's your profit, then you want to be spending about $10 per sale on Amazon pay-per-click. That's your benchmark. You can do this less or more aggressively, but that is your baseline. Master Joe does it much more aggressively. He doesn't even care how much money he's losing. He's trying to beg, borrow in every sale he can get. Then the third part of this is when you would do some sort of a launch. Okay. Now this is going to do a couple of things. One, if you've got 25 reviews, the success of your launch is going to be better. And if the success of your launch is better, then you're going to get more reviews. So this nucleus of reviews is really important before we do anything else. Now, what is the launch? This can be your own Facebook dollar giveaway. This can be a Zon Blast. This can be a giveaway on a blog. This can also be on your own Facebook page. So these are your different sources for your nucleus of sales once your reviews are kicking in. This is how we get out of the grind. This is how we hit the ground running to the point where we've got sales coming in consistently, and we can push ourselves out of that problem of ranking for keywords, because when you do all these things, we start to rank for keywords, we get 50 to 100 reviews, and we can start moving things forward. Now, this is all. Somebody sent me a question via Facebook this week where they said, if you have a product that stops selling, what do you do? And I said, you go back to this process. You go back here. You turn up your Amazon pay-per-click, you do some giveaways, you get ranking for keywords. This is what you do if things stop selling. This is what you do to get things to start selling. You run them through this process. Then once you're through this process, then you can look at something more advanced, like what we covered earlier, which is something like this process. And you don't need to be worrying about this yet unless it's immediately relevant to you. But you can start this process too when you really want to start growing. Does this help with what it looks like once your product hits Amazon's warehouse and what to do to start getting sales moving quickly? Give me a thumbs up if it does. Give me a thumbs down if no. Thank you. Thanks, guys. All right, good. Does this answer your question? Why you weren't getting sales without any reviews?
Partially. Because, can I get something?
Yes.
You know, I have a French Amazon account, and I only did free sales on these accounts, but I used Amazon ads, and I got free sales with no reviews at all. So, and the reviews, the sales came in like 3 days in a row. Then they stopped. But it's true that my pictures are not, 1,000 pixels, they're not zoomable. The description is so-so, and I can't have the bullet points below my listing price. So I think it fails conversion, but still I got some sales. But I think I understand your overall strategy, so I'm going to apply this. But also in the course, they say get free reviews. Like, is it not enough free reviews? Because it fills out the space.
3 reviews is not enough, but 3 reviews will fill up the space. That is like you can't. That's like you can't breathe if you don't have 3 reviews. I don't think you can make consistent sales without about 20 reviews. So, but I think your question was, you got sales right away when you were on the French version of Amazon, but you're not getting any sales from US Amazon. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, so how many sales were you getting on French Amazon?
Well, I just launched, I had like 4 products in stock because it was different variations of the same product, but I just did free sales.
Just 3 sales?
Yeah.
All right, so it's the same problem on the other countries and the international versions of Amazon. You have little to no competition, so it's a different game. You might even a blind squirrel finds a nut sometimes, but when you have 25 reviews, then you will start to see consistent sales because you can advertise.
All right.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Also, I just have a, when you saw the step 3, the stage 3 diagram, I have an idea. I don't know if, I know it's theoretical and I shouldn't think about this right now because I'm not at this stage, but I thought about, the software Facebook uses to, when you register by Facebook, and then you say, they say enter your email and invite your friends. I was wondering if this could work, like when you do a giveaway, you have the squeeze page. You say enter your email, and then they say, wait, could you just do a favor and invite your friends to share about this deal? Or give them an incentive to do that, like an additional discount. I know it works for certain marketers, but I wonder if this would work for this particular strategy of building a freebie kind of list, people.
I don't. It'll definitely work, and those types of lists have been done for years and years for email giveaways and all kinds of stuff. So it'll certainly work. I'm yet to see anybody do that on their own email list, but I believe the guys over at Viral Launch, viral-launch.com, are starting to do that for their Amazon launch service, just to build their list of people who want products for $1. So people are starting to think about that, and you can certainly do it for your own list as well. I want to take some questions over at the chat box. And Thomas Miller asks, do you use a promo code for the initial Nucleus of reviews from friends and family? You can. I mean, you can do this however you feel comfortable. You can just give them a free coupon code, which is what we did. You can have them buy it and then PayPal the money. You can do it however you want to do it, as long as you're having people buy and leave reviews so they're verified, and you can bug them to death to leave reviews and not sacrifice that relationship. Tim asks, so am I clear? Are you suggesting that you get reviews before product arrives? No. I'm suggesting that as soon as you can get verified reviews, which you can do in a couple different ways, you can do it by fulfilling a product to be a merchant, or you can just have everybody buy on that launch day and leave reviews as soon as possible while you're doing the other processes, like doing a giveaway on your Facebook page or emailing your list. I personally have always waited until the product arrives to FBA, but you can also do it fulfilled by merchant as well. There's a question. Joe always mentions having a good follow-up sequence. Can someone explain this? Is that an email follow-up sequence, phone calls, or both? When he says that, he means a good email follow-up sequence to your buyers, and you can use the ASM tool for that. Eric says, if these mind maps are not provided in some fashion post-call, I have a strong feeling that I may spontaneously combust. I have never seen a human spontaneously combust, so I will not be providing mind maps because I would love to hear about those. A question from Shannon, what about using bulletin boards for getting beta testers? I don't know what you mean. And from Darren, what has been everyone's experience with a higher ticket item, like $65? Does a $5 promotion still work instead of a $1 promotion? There has been some mixed success on doing a $5 promotion or a $10 promotion or whatever it is. Some people have reported that they've seen really good success. Other people say not so much. So it really comes down to the market that you're in. One more question from Diego. Question for the first 25 reviews. What if you are outside the U.S.? What about other people who are living abroad? What are other people doing abroad to get those first reviews? Well, I could be wrong on this, but I believe that people outside of the U.S. still know other human beings that can leave reviews. So I would recommend that you do that. If you're outside the U.S. but selling on the U.S., then you can go to forums, you can build your own list, you can go to bloggers, scrape, beg, borrow, and steal for each one of those reviews. I lied. There's still one more question because this came in twice. Expanding on my method for looking at mass media for products. What I mean by this is if a product is advertised on TV, radio, print, and not necessarily on Amazon, or it's not the hot is. So our first couple products didn't look like they had a lot of competition on Amazon, but they were getting lots of exposure in mass media. If you go into your local retail store, you could buy them. If you got direct mail, you're getting ads for them. If you watch TV, you're seeing commercials for similar products. So we decided to go into that market because not a lot of people were doing it on Amazon, but there was a lot of demand for it off of Amazon, and that was really, really helpful for us. So don't just limit your research to what's selling well on Amazon. Look at what is selling a lot of volume globally, because if people are buying it in stores, they're buying it on Amazon too. All right, with our last 10 minutes, I just want to take questions from those of you who are on the chat, mostly so we can get this animated picture off of my screen and yours. And I want to hear from you guys and how we can refine your process. I'd love to hear from those who haven't said anything, including Alina, Nicholas, Beth. I'd love to hear from you guys.
Hi, Ryan.
Yo, Nick.
So I'm at the process of my samples, so they're all coming in on Monday through DHL. And my question is that they're all a 30-day lead time. So should I order more than the 100 or 200 to start with and order like 500 just to ensure that I will have enough inventory for like a zone blast or something else of that nature?
That would be my strong recommendation, yes. If you cannot financially do that, order what you're comfortable doing. But yes, especially if you're ordering from overseas and you've got a 30-day lead time, I strongly suggest that you order as many as you're comfortable doing, because you're right, you're going to have to do a launch, you've got to give away some free units to get reviews. We need to be aggressive with that process, and to do that process and then be out of inventory kind of negates the momentum that you got in the first place by doing that. So yes, I would suggest doing as many as you're comfortable doing. Our first order for yoga mats was 500 units. You can do more or less as long as you're financially comfortable doing that.
Awesome, thanks.
Sure. Good question. Beth, I'd love to hear from a lady on the call.
I don't know if you can hear me because my computer's been giving me some trouble here.
I can hear you fine.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you loud and clear.
Can you hear me or no?
Yes, again.
Great. I'm running a little bit late because I switched products because I have experience. I think you spoke last week about using an asset, and I'm already selling an ebook in the health category, so I have a subscriber list and all, but I decided not to go down that path because of recommendation initially that was a restricted category and to stay away from it, but through some help in the Facebook groups and all, I decided to actually pursue that. So I did get approval in the health category.
Good.
2 weeks ago, and so I changed my path, and so I'm a little bit late now. So now I'm actually just dealing with suppliers, and then I'm negotiating with a couple of suppliers to move forward. But I think it's the right way to go because it's in a niche that I'm already in with an information.
How big is that customer list from your ebook sales?
It's actually very big, but it's not as responsive as I would like it to be because it started back in 2008, and it's also global, so I'd say only maybe 50% of it is US, which is what I would have to concentrate on, and it's sort of dwindling in terms of responsiveness, but I also, in addition to having an ebook that I author, I do sell, as an affiliate, some physical products, and it's those physical products that I want to now private label, and I think I will get a good response.
Great.
More or less, given that I'm going to start to private label a lot of the products that I was selling as an affiliate.
So I think you made a very good move. If you already have a customer list and you are already selling physical products as an affiliate, I think you have made a very good move of selling those products as your own. I would have discouraged you from going in a different direction. So I would say you made a very good move, and your path to success will be much shorter because you have that nucleus of customers that you can go to. Even if your list isn't as responsive, you still have people that love you. Right. You still have a group of raving fans. Do you guys know that when I shut down my business and just went in the direction of having Amazon products, and have a customer list, and you are already selling some physical products as an affiliate, I think you have made my list was basically dead, and all of you are still here on this call, and this is the 4th round of this mentoring. So even my list, I thought, was pretty much dead, and certain things will wake them up, like doing something completely different. And so, Beth, I think you're in a great spot. Cool. Lena, can we hear from the two of you? I see you moving. I see you scurrying around. I see you muting yourself. Maybe not. Okay.
Ryan, you might be able to unmute him. I'm not sure.
What's that?
Can you unmute him?
Well, they're unmuted.
Oh, yeah, they are.
I want to take one last glance at the chat box. A lot of people on the chat box are talking about FBAinspection.com. I must confess that I know nothing about them. I also heard that my audio cut out really bad in my last rant, so if you guys know where I cut out, I'd be happy to fill in the gaps. Actually, there were a couple of messaging that I cut out for a few seconds.
Yeah,
I'm on hotel Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it cut out a couple times, Ryan, but then it came back and repeated, and with the 40-second lag to the chat box, I don't remember what it was.
Okay. Well, forgive me today, everybody, for both my computer and my Wi-Fi not wanting to be of much use today. And so my apologies. Thanks for sticking with me. Congratulations to those of you who have already placed orders or have samples coming in. I think that's where business really starts. That is where things really get exciting, is when you've actually taken a real risk. There's no risk in buying an product, but there is risk in buying inventory. So congratulations to those of you who took the plunge. Your assignment for this week is to start writing your listing. I don't care if you have samples, if you have ordered your inventory, or if you're still looking for suppliers. As long as you know what your product is going to be, start writing your listing. And I want you to do 2 versions of your headline. Actually, the more versions of your headline you can do, the better, because we can look at them in the Facebook group. We can look at them on calls together. And I also want you to do a couple different versions, because ASM is going to be teaching you how to write headlines that are no longer compliant, and Amazon is cracking down on them majorly. So I want you to write a compliant headline as one of your tests. And if you don't know what the compliant headline is, it's a short one with your product name. There's room for, I think it's like 80 or 100 characters. You basically have room for your product name, a couple keywords, and a short description of your product. So I want you to write several different variations of that headline, including some compliant ones, and that is your assignment for this week. I also want you to have 2 places where you can go to get a core group of sales. And just have them written down. You don't need to have them secured or anything, but be clear on what your 2 sources are going to be. Are they going to be your own Facebook page? Is it going to be your list? Is it going to be some bloggers that you know? Come back with 2 places where you can hit the ground running right away to get sales from day 1. If you come back with those 2 places, you'll be in a good spot. I'm going to stick around for a couple minutes to answer some questions in the chat box that I missed on this call. For those of you who are watching live, thanks for coming, and I'll see you next week. Hopefully with video and good internet that time. So thanks for putting up with me.
Hey, Ryan.
Thanks, guys. Next week.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.